Alright guys, we are going to once again talk about a video of my former riding. We did this a few times already and it's been awesome. I really enjoy looking back on all the tricks that I've done since I can't really ride anymore and do those tricks, because some of those moments were some of the best of my life. So today's video that we're going to be going over is my welcome to Hyper video I did way back in 2013 when I got into Hyper. Now let me explain to you a little bit about Hyper bikes. Hyper is based out of New Jersey, and I was based out of New Jersey too my whole entire life up until about a year ago when we moved down here to Florida. So back in 2013 when Hyper asked me to be on the team, I was so excited about it, and I wanted to do a video that was going to get people talking around BMX. So there was a couple things that I had in mind that I was thinking about doing for the video, but there was a couple things that just kind of came on the fly at the same time. So for today we're going to be going over the video trick by trick, and what's so interesting about this one is the fact that there's very little tricks in this video. There's only 5 tricks total, which is pretty insane to think about. That made up my whole entire video, but the tricks were handpicked specifically for this because they were serious moves. So let's get straight into it. We're going to be talking about the first trick of the video today, which happened at the Incline Club, and this trick was insane. Like, thinking about it now, it blows my mind that I was able to pull this off. And the trick that I'm talking about is a flip whip I did over the doubles at the skate park. And the doubles were 2 sets. You know, you're supposed to hit the first one and then hit the second one. And when we built it, we all joked about it. Do you think anybody could jump from the lip to the landing? I think it's possible. You had a ton of run up all the way up to it. Now it brings us to the flip whip right here, and the flip whip was terrifying to me. I knew that it was going to be a really hard one and it was going to have all the time in the world. You have to do the backflip and the tail at the same time, but you have to be able to time it perfectly from the time you're at the lip to when you're at the landing, and you have to factor in all the height that you're getting for the landing part. So I knew that was going to be the hard part. So we ended up filming the clip from the top of the bike shop at the skate park, so you could see me pedaling as fast as I can across the flat bottom, jumping into the bank. By the time I hit the lip, it was instantly, and I went so high in the air in this flip whip, and I had to travel so far. Now another cool thing is we shot a fisheye, and this really shows exactly how high it was. So we sat right next to the bottom of the lip, and we got an angle from there, and the flip whip looked crazy from here. Now what's really cool about this angle as well, you can see a familiar face that's on top of the deck. Mr. Ricky Hoffman showed up randomly at the skate park, and he hadn't been there in about 2 years up to that point, and I did the flip whip right in front of him. So that was pretty cool to see. So the first trick was awesome, and that really set the tone for the rest of everything that was happening, because that was the first clip that I actually filmed for the video. So now we're moving on to the other end of the skate park, and these 2 tricks happened on the same ramp, and both of these came into my mind. I didn't know if I could pull them off, but I had a feeling that it could be up my alley. So the first trick we're going to be talking about is the cork 900 I did up the step up. So I spun my 720s off axis like cork, so I wasn't spinning straight up and down. I had to lean to my side. So when I did this 900, I knew that I was going to have to go for the same exact spin, but I was going to have to time it differently, and that was going to be the hard part of it. So I went for the 900 and I corked out, and I ended up spinning this thing perfectly, and I landed this one. And you can see there was so much back force that my front wheel actually lifted off the ground when I was pedaling backwards, which was pretty crazy. And on this one we got a second angle as well. This one was shot from behind, and you can see the spin looks pretty crazy from here. So that trick was the easier of the 2 that I was doing on the step up. The next one at this point I've never seen anybody do before. I was going to attempt to do a flare whip on the step up. If you were doing it on a quarter pipe, you would land back in regular, but since I was doing it on a step up, I was going to land backwards. Now the things that got me nervous about this were if my feet were going to land on the pedals perfectly or not, because if they didn't land on the pedals perfectly and I started pedaling backwards, my foot would be stuck on the side of the crank arm, and it would get stuck underneath the frame, and it would kill my foot, and I'd probably land on my back. So the first time I sent it, it reassured me that I was going to be able to land this thing, and on the second attempt I committed to it and I landed it perfectly, and it was done textbook. I landed feet on the pedals, I got the rollback dialed, and I was surprised on how easy that trick actually was for me. So that was really cool to do. So those first 3 tricks that we did in that video were things that nobody has done before. That huge flip whip over the doubles, that cork 900 to fakie, and that flare whip to fakie as well. So I was really happy with what we did at the skate park, and then the next portion of the video was going to be taking it out of the skate park. I wanted to make sure I can get some street clips in here, because I always saw myself as a very well-rounded rider. I could ride everything and anything, and I loved riding anything and everything. You know, whether it be skate park, dirt jumps, whether it be riding on flat ground or riding street, I feel like I can hold my own in any of those elements. So I wanted to make sure I can get some really cool street clips as well. And we found this awesome spot like a year before I shot this video, and I knew straight away I wanted to go back to this because I had some unfinished business. So the first clip I'm going to show you guys was a bit of a line that I came up with. Now this spot in particular was one of a kind. I came up with the idea idea of climbing up onto the top of this first roof, then going up onto the second roof. Now the way that this clip is gonna break down was a gap to grind from the second story to the first story, and then I was grinding on this flat rail, then I had to jump off, and then I was going to do a wall ride drop in from the first floor down. Now that first floor was about 9 feet off the ground, and now the wall ride down, I had this pallet that was set up on top of it. So when I ended up sending the clip, it looked like this. So I jumped from the top, clearing that ledge, landing perfectly in the grind, which is about 4 feet down or so, and then get my wheels onto the flat ground to get ready for this wall ride. So this wall ride was really crucial because I needed to land perfectly on the wall and ride down into the pallet that we had set up. So this clip in full speed looks like this, and I was so happy with the way it turned out. It looked smooth, it looked in control. Now what's crazy about this wall ride, if you look back at that pallet right there, part of it broke off when I landed, but thankfully it didn't grab my back wheel and make me flip over the handlebars, and I didn't have to do it again. So that worked out awesome. Now this next clip we're going to be talking about is one of the craziest tail whips I have ever done in my life. And that goes to say a lot because I've done, seriously, if I had to guess the amount of tail whips I've done, I probably have done 20,000 tail whips in my life. I'd say so. What do you think, big boy? You think it's accurate?
I was gonna guess more. I'd say like.
What would you guess?
Dude, there was days where you'd get at least 10 to 15 a video. You did 50 in one video with Brooklyn. That's right there, you know?
Yeah, I want to say about 25,000 tail whips. I think that's a pretty good number. If you break that down, that's a lot of tail whips.
Just there's no shortage of tail whips in the name Scotty Kramer. I'll tell you that.
Not at all. So I wanted to do this crazy tail whip, and now what's cool about this tail whip is I did it about a year before that, and I only did it for a photo. There was no video camera there. We used it for a Vans ad, and it looked awesome. It was shot from underneath, and you could see me gapping across this building. But the whole backstory to this setup right here was pretty crazy. We rolled up on this building, we found it was abandoned, and we started to explore. I found that gap from underneath, and I got up to the top to make it happen. There was about a ledge this high that was separating, you know, the floor to the edge of the building. And I knew if I was gonna tail up this thing, I was going to need, you know, a bit of a jump for it. So we ended up looking around there, and I found this really, you know, kind of crappy particle board looking piece of wood. At the time, it held up all right. I set it up, I hit the tail up across it, and I ended up doing it first try, which is pretty insane. It's a really big gap, and I was so thrilled I got it one and done. So a year later, when I went to go back there to do this, we showed up there, and in between that time frame, Hurricane Sandy had hit, and Hurricane Sandy dropped some serious water and some serious wind on everything, and this piece of wood got blown all over the place, and when I got there, it was destroyed. It was broken into pieces, and I didn't know what to do because we were there ready to go, and I was like, you know what, I can make this happen. So I stacked up the wood like a takeoff ramp, and I gave my friend Brian Carter, the guy that was filming this video, the thumbs up, and I sent this thing, and as soon as I hit it, all hell broke loose. The board broke, and it took away all my speed, and I knew right away I was in trouble. I actually had to ditch the bike underneath me and do the rest of it just on my feet, and my bike cased the building and fell off of it into the bush. Now thankfully I was a-okay. I knew it wasn't going to be possible that day, so I decided that I was going to come back with a piece of wood, but I went to go leave, and I checked for my key, and I remembered that it was in my jacket pocket. So I was like, no, when I did the jump and I fell off the roof, it must have fell. So I was like, if it falls in that bush, like, I'm never finding that key again. So I ended up searching on top of the roof, and the spot where I landed, the key was there, thankfully. So we were able to leave, no problems. But when we came back, we brought a better piece of wood, and it made things perfect. It made it easy to do, and I ended up getting it first try this time as well. And what's pretty crazy about it, you can see in my landing, I let the land perfectly on the pedal, and I have about 15 to 20 feet after I land to set up and jump over a pipe that's on top of the building. So I need to be in control. Like, as soon as I landed, it's not like I was safe at that point. I still need to finish the job. And that video right there made everybody in BMX talk about me and Hyper, and that was what the goal was for that one. We wanted to do a video that was going to intertwine Scotty Kramer and Hyper together, and I think we did a perfect job on that one. Even though it was a short video with only 5 tricks, I think we got the job done. And me and Big Boy were talking about this not that long ago, and it's kind of crazy thinking about that tail up gap that went across that building. That one time I jumped it and the wood broke, and I still made it across it, no problem at all, not hurt one bit. And the trick that took me out and ended my riding career was actually a tail up, and it was off of a 3-foot ledge. I landed the tail up, but it was the hole in that ditch that ended up hurting me and breaking my neck. So, and this just goes to show to all you guys that are out there, especially you guys that, you know, don't ride helmets, or like, oh, I'm not doing anything big, I'm not doing anything crazy, so I don't need a helmet. This is a perfect example example that no matter what, anytime you get on your bike, serious things can happen. So just remember that a fall could be right around the corner, and please be careful on your bikes. Please wear your helmets if you guys can. It could save you guys in the long run. And not only is it going to be you being hurt, but it's also going to be your family that's going to be affected at the same time. So, but guys, it's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed going down memory lane with me. So much fun to go back there and think about all the cool stuff I've done on my bike, and I'm so proud of the riding I've done. So for the time being, I'm going to be thinking about the next video I want to do for you guys. But until next time, remember to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. Peace.